The Caspian region is evidently now of increasing importance to the United Kingdom. It's an area where we haven't been as evident as we should have been, and now we're trying to make sure we make progress there. We've had a very strong footprint in the oil and gas sector with BP's enormous investments in Azerbaijan, with Shell and BG in Kazakhstan, but now we need to spread that to a wider range of areas of cooperation. And I was in Baku just earlier this month to sign an agreement with the Minister for the Economy to agree how we will take forward that cooperation into other areas of industry and finance. In the last year, with the falling oil price, with the sanctions in Russia, the tensions in the region, is I think an increased focus on diversifying the economy. The oil and gas is about 95% of the exports from Azerbaijan, and so it's that other 5%. How do we grow the ICT sector? How do we grow the agricultural sector, if you excuse the pun? How do we grow other areas of the economy and financial services, and to bring new investment in and give them the ability to export that, to create a stronger standalone economy than has been the case so far. Azerbaijan is a country of immense drive, immense enthusiasm and great positivity, and that we need to be capturing that now and working with them to realise their ambitions. I think one of the things you'd always find with Europe is that sometimes it can act as a European Union and sometimes it acts as individual member states. Europe is at its best in energy, is on looking at issues of energy security and looking at how we build the new gas infrastructure to bring Russian gas through other pipelines into Europe, but more importantly, how do we bring gas from other countries into Europe? And the very strong support from the European Commission for the TANAP pipeline, from the TAP pipeline, and bringing Azerbaijani gas into southern Europe shows that joined-up thinking. We'll always have independent energy policies, and that's as it should be. We shouldn't be determined centrally what the mix should be of our own energy mix. But on issues of energy security, that has to be driven at an international level, and the EU does that with great vigour. The issue which we're looking at the moment is how do we bring additional sources of gas into the European market. There's a need to deal with the issue in Ukraine and to find other routes around Ukraine because we don't know how long it'll be before there's a political settlement there. But also that the other important sources of gas, which are from Kazakhstan, from Azerbaijan, from Turkmenistan, possibly from further south in the Caspian in due course as well, those, whilst they're not enormous contributors in terms of a percentage of the amount of gas we use in the EU, they are still significant, and it's that diversity. Churchill said over 100 years ago, energy security comes from diversity. He was talking then about oil, but it's just as true today about gas, and finding different sources of gas and bringing that into the mix is going to be an important part of that. So just because it is not going to be as big a quantity as, say, the Russian gas, doesn't mean it's not going to be a very important contributor. One of the great privileges of being the trade envoy is the chance to go to different countries around the Caspian to compare the approaches which they're taking. I think this concept of Eurasia is beginning to develop. The concept of a special area between Europe, with Russia to the north, China to the east, and then the emerging countries like Iran to the south. And so they're recognizing their strategic importance. They're working in a way that they never have done before on cooperation on strategic links, be that in IT, be it in transport, be it in energy infrastructure. And so we are seeing that degree of cooperation, but they are different countries with different policies and very different styles. And therefore we need to devote the time in the United Kingdom to each and every one of them, rather than thinking we can deal with it collectively. It's not. These are vast, vast areas. Just the land size of Kazakhstan is one of the biggest countries in the world. So the 5,000 kilometre border with Russia, and so enormous countries. And we need to be devoting time not just to the countries individually, but to the regions and the cities within those countries if we're really going to achieve what is possible, which I'm sure we can.